अरहंत सिद्ध सुर उपाध्याय साधु सर्व अर्थ के प्रकाशी मांगलिक उपकारी है। तीन को स्वरूप जानी रागते भई जो भक्ति काय को नमाए स्तुति को उच्चारी है। धन्य धन्य तुम से काज सब आज भयो कर जोरी बारंबार वंदना हमारी है। मंगल कल्याण सुख ऐसो हम चाहते हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। So today we are going to start with the mode related point of view, their divisions and subdivisions. We are on to page number 21. You have the printout with you, Jinali?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So today we are going to study mode related viewpoint. You take out page number okay, 21.
Yes, sir. The seventh one.
Yes. From there we are going to start. So mode related viewpoint focuses on the transient. So transient, what word we use? Non-eternal. Okay. Same thing. On the non-eternal, manifold, differentiated, and specific. So and has to be cut from here. And after differentiated and specific. Okay. So and specific. Specific aspects of the general specific nature of the self-substance. Okay. So mode related viewpoint focuses on the transient nature, non-eternal, many, differentiated, and specific. Okay. So the substance related viewpoint was focusing on what? General, eternal, non-differentiated, and one. Okay. Now this is mode related viewpoint. So the eyes of the substance related viewpoint is now closed. We are looking only at the mode related viewpoint, which focuses on the non-eternal, many, differentiated, and specific aspects of the general specific nature of the self-substance. It has got six subdivisions. The names of the six subdivisions are given on page number 24. You have to correct it from there. These are not the correct names. On page number 24, from the chart, we can see the names. So go to the page number 24. From here, we will understand the whole concept. So at the top is mode related viewpoint. It is divided into two. Permanent mode grasping,
Permanent mode grasping.
Right. So permanent mode grasping can also be said as eternal and non-eternal. Okay. So eternal is again divided into two. Permanent mode grasping is because in both the cases they are grasping the modification part. Okay. So mode grasping is common in both the cases, but one is focusing on the permanent and another one is focusing on the impermanence. Permanence means eternal and impermanence means non-eternal. Okay. So again, this permanent mode grasping or the eternal mode grasping is divided into two. Okay. First one is beginningless eternal mode related viewpoint. Okay. Beginningless, anadi. Eternal is nitya, mode related viewpoint. That is the modification related viewpoint. The second is with beginning.
So it has no beginning and no end.
No, it has got, see, beginningless, no beginning, but there could be end. Okay.
Okay.
And in the second case, the beginning is there, but end is not certain. So there will be four options to this. One would be beginningless, endless. One would be beginningless with end. Another would be with beginning and no end. Another would be with beginning and with end. So four we will discuss later on, but let's see the divisions first. So first name would be beginningless eternal mode related viewpoint. Second would be with beginning eternal mode related viewpoint. Okay. These are the two coming from the first divisions. Now the second, impermanence is divided into two. Okay. Pure mode grasping and pure impermanent mode grasping and impure impermanent mode grasping. Both are impermanent. Okay. Because in that heading only it is given impermanent mode grasping. That means non-eternal mode grasping. Okay. So pure non-eternal mode grasping, impure. Pure is again divided into two. Okay. Number 3 and 5. Third is existence, independent, impermanent, pure mode related viewpoint. Okay. Independent means nirpeksh. Existence means satta. Satta, nirpeksh, anitya, shuddh, paryarthik, nahi. Okay. Similarly, the fifth one, that is the second part of the pure one, is karmic afflictions independent. Why it is independent? Because it is pure. So the basis of pure is independentness. Both are independent. One is independent of existence and the other is independent of karmic afflictions. Okay. So these are two divisions of pure impermanent mode grasping. Now another two of impure impermanent mode grasping. The first one is existence dependent, impermanent, impure. This is impure. Okay. The next two are impure because in the heading it is given impure. What is written over there? Impure. So of course the subdivisions will also be impure. But here is a printing mistake. They have not written impure. They have written pure. So put I and M against that. Okay. Then you will get the correct name. Existence
Sir, sir,
dependent.
sir. Sir, in which?
See on the right hand side. Okay. There is impure impermanent mode grasping that
The
you can
sixth one you are saying, sir.
not sixth one. 6 and 4 together. The
Yeah.
main heading. Main heading.
Huh.
Impure impermanent mode grasping.
Huh.
That is divided into two, 4 and
Yeah.
6.
Yeah.
So in both the boxes, you have to write I am. It is written pure, but actually it is impure.
Okay.
Okay. So existence dependent, impermanent, impure. Karmic afflictions dependent, impermanent, impure. I
Okay.
am is missing in both the cases. You have written
Okay.
I am.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So we have got the 6 names. Now we come back to the discussion and let's first understand. So from the chart, one minute, hang on to the chart. From the chart, we can make out that the first one division is permanent mode grasping. It has got no distinctions of pure and impure. Okay. So the first one is beginningless eternal mode and the next one is with beginning eternal mode. So both these divisions are eternal. Now impermanent mode grasping, both are impermanent. Okay. And one is pure, one is impure. Pure is again divided into two and impure is again divided onto two. Pure is independent, impure is dependent. So all these we can make out from this, and that is what is being explained here in writing. So again, we come back to the starting page, and these 6 names you should copy from there and write here because the names are not correct, but there in the box, the chart, the names are correct. Only I am you have to add. Okay, last two, 4 and 6, you have to add I am. It is written pure, but you have to add IM, so it both becomes impure. Sasikala ji, you do the correction. Understood?
Huh? Yes, sir.
The chart
Ah,
on page number 25,
ah,
in the chart number 4 and 6, you could see number 4 and 6. Page number 24, the chart is there.
yes, sir, yes.
In the last two box, number 4 and number 6,
Ah,
it is written as pure.
ah,
You have to make it IM, impure.
okay, okay.
Both are impure, okay?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, now we come to the heading. Back to the page number 21. Just as in the substance related viewpoint, okay? So you start reading from here, Jinali.
Mode related viewpoints, paryarthik नय, distinctions and subdistinctions. Mode related viewpoints focuses on the transient, anithya, manifold, aneka, and differentiated and specific.
You cut
Differentiated.
and you cut before differentiated,
Huh.
differentiated and
And
specific
specific
aspects of the general specific.
aspects of the general specific nature of the self substance. It has 6 subdivisions.
Now the
Mode.
names has to be taken from their chart. Okay, not these names.
Okay.
Okay.
Anadi Nitya Paryarthik the Hindi names are right, sir?
Hindi names are right.
Okay. Anadi Nitya Paryarthik Nay, Sadi Nitya Paryarthik Nay, and Satta Nirpeksha Anitya Sudha. Paryarthika Nay.
Shuddha Paryarthik Nay.
Shuddha Paryarthika Nay. सत्ता सापेक्ष अनित्य अशुद्ध पर्यार्थिका नय प्योर ओके कर्मोपाधि निरपेक्षा अनित्य सुधा पर्यार्थिका नय and कर्मोपाधि सापेक्षा अनित्य अशुद्ध पर्यार्थिका नय. Just as in the substance related viewpoint, in the mode related viewpoint too, the basis for purity and impurity is independence and dependence, respectively. Since the first two mode related viewpoints do not involve the basis of dependence or independence, the distinction of pure and impure does not apply to them. The third viewpoint being independent of existence and grasping, origination, destruction is considered the mode related viewpoint of transient purity, Anitya Shuddha. The fourth viewpoint being dependent on existence and grasping origination, destruction, and permanence is the mode related viewpoint of transient impurity, Anitya Ashuddha. Similarly, the fifth viewpoint is called pure because it is independent of karmic afflictions, whereas the sixth is called impure because it is dependent on karmic afflictions. In this way, among the 6 affirmation types, the third and the fifth are pure, while the fourth and the sixth are impure viewpoints. Among these distinctions and sub-distinctions of mode-related viewpoints, the first 2 types are knowers of eternal modes, and the remaining 4 are knowers of transient modes. The qualifiers pure and impure are not applied to the 2 viewpoints that apprehend eternal modes, namely beginningless eternal and with beginning eternal viewpoints, whereas such qualifiers are found in the viewpoints that apprehend transient modes.
So wherever transient is written, you can write non-eternal also. We are using standard words. So everywhere we should write eternal, non-eternal. Eternal is nitya, non-eternal is anitya. Okay. So instead of using transient, we use non-eternal. So it brings in an uniformity. Okay. As far as meaning is concerned, transient is also non-eternal. So meaning wise, it is okay. But we would like to use standard names throughout. So we write eternal and non-eternal. Okay.
Upon examining these distinctions and sub-distinctions of mode-related viewpoints, a question naturally arises: if a modification is inherently impermanent, existing only for a single moment, then how can it be termed beginless eternal or with beginning eternal? Although it is entirely true that a modification is only momentary, still a modification that lasts for a single moment is directly known only by the omniscient Lord. Those who possess knowledge arising from destruction come subsidence of karmas. Shayopsama gnana. Know it only through the omnisciently revealed canonical scriptures and inferences. The momentary transformation that occurs at each instant is not grasped at that very moment by those with Sayopshama Gnana.
Stop. So you see, we saw the divisions. The first two are eternal. The next four are non-eternal. Okay. In the first two, the distinctions of pure does not arise because they don't have any dependency or independency. If the independency is there, it is called pure. If the dependency is there, it is called impure. But such things does not exist in the first two. So first two are eternal. Okay. The next four are non-eternal. In the non-eternal segment, we have two divisions. Okay. As we have seen in the chart, that one is pure, another one is impure. Pure is again divided into two, independent of existence independent and karmic afflictions independent. That is 3 and 5. And impure is again divided into two, number 4 and 6, which is existence dependent and karmic afflictions dependent. Okay. So these are all given over there. Now, upon examining these distinctions and sub-distinctions of mode related viewpoint, a question naturally arises. If a modification is inherently non-eternal, okay, non-eternal means transient, impermanent, okay, existing only for a single moment, okay. So modification, every moment new modification arises, the old modification gets destroyed, okay. So origination and destruction goes all the time. New
That's the
modification.
nature of a paryay.
Yeah, that's the nature of a paryay, and it is only for a moment. Okay. Then how can it be termed beginningless, eternal? Okay. So the modification is for a single moment. So how can you term it as beginningless and eternal? Because if it is for a moment, then every moment it is beginning, and every moment, next moment it is ending. So how you can call it as beginningless and eternal? Okay. Or with beginning and eternal. Okay. These are the first two divisions. First is beginningless, eternal. Second one is with beginning, eternal. So how can it be? So then it is clarified. Although it is entirely true that a modification is only momentary, one moment only, still a modification that lasts for a single moment is directly known only by the omniscient Lord. Every moment modification is new coming up, evolution of new modification and extinction of old modification happening all the time. But that momentary modification can only be caught by the omniscience knowledge. We are having now sensory knowledge and scriptural knowledge. So through that knowledge, we cannot comprehend momentary modification. Okay. It is only known by the omniscient Lord. Those who possesses knowledge arising from destruction cum subsidence of karmas, that is Shayapsham Gyan. Okay. So our knowledge is like this, Shayapsham Gyan. Okay. Destruction cum subsidence of karmas, and because of that instrumental cause, the knowledge that is right now we have is called Shayapsham Gyan. Okay. So we can only know it only through the scriptures written by the omniscient, through the omnisciently revealed canonical scriptures. Canonical scriptures means Agam, Jinvani. Okay, so this we cannot know directly. In our limited Sarvsham Gyan, we can know through canonical scriptures and inference. Inference means anuman. Okay, so anuman is again a type of knowledge. It's a part of sensory knowledge. Okay, so we can know it either through reading the scriptures or through anuman. Anuman is inference. The momentary transformation means modification, that occur at each instant, every moment, is not grasped at that very moment by those with Sayopsham Gyan. Okay? So what we come to know is a cluster of paryai. Not a single paryai we come to know. Now you know that you have manifested anger. But when you realize that you have manifested anger, already many modifications has passed. So what we realize is only a cluster of paryai. A cluster of anger paryai, then only you know that it's an anger. We cannot track the momentary modifications. Only omniscience can know through his knowledge, through his complete knowledge, every modification in real time. We only know the clusters, okay? If only the subtle, momentary, real true modification is accepted as a modification, and the gross, practical or purpose oriented modification comprising collection of several modification, cluster of several modification, okay, across multiple moments are not accepted as modification, then the mode related viewpoint of those possessing Shayapsham Gyan would not even be possible. Okay, we cannot know the particular modification in a moment. Okay, what we know is a collection of several modification across multiple moments. Okay, so in our limited knowledge of Shayapsham Gyan, we cannot comprehend the momentary modifications. We only know the collection of several modifications across multiple moments. Even if somehow such a position was theoretically postulated, the practical aspect of its utility would be lost. And since the purpose of viewpoints pertains precisely to those with Sarvsham Gyan, because omniscience doesn't require any viewpoints. Because in omniscience knowledge, everything is absolutely crystal clear. They don't need viewpoints to apply and then understand. It is our limited knowledge that we require viewpoints, and after applying viewpoints, we know the each of the part of the substance very clearly. Okay. The mode related viewpoint takes as its subject not only the single moment modification, but also modifications that are in the form of aggregates. Aggregates means cluster across multiple moments. So in our limited knowledge, what we come to know is not the momentary modification, but the collection of many modifications across different moments. For example, human mode, celestial mode, hellish mode, subhuman mode, worldly mode, liberated mode. All these are some of the modifications that we can comprehend. Okay. But single moment modification, it's not becoming part of our knowledge. Only the omniscient Lord can know that. So what we know is a cluster of modification, and that is only possible at our level. Okay. So here in the mode related viewpoint, we will consider that cluster of modification and not the single modification, because single modification we cannot know through our limited knowledge. Only the omniscient lords know it. Okay. So what we have to consider is a cluster of modification, and that's why the word eternal is used. Okay. Otherwise, it is not eternal, it is momentary. But the word eternal is uh, used because okay, it's a cluster of modification and not single modification. Okay. Now, in this way, we see that apart from the momentary modification, the mention of formal multi-moment modification, not transformation, you write modifications. Modification is a standard term for paryai. So everywhere, wherever transformation is written, we should take it as modification. Okay. In this way, we see that apart from the momentary modification, the mention of formal multi-moment modification is also found extensively in the canonical and supreme canonical text. Okay, canonical text is Agam and supreme canonical text is Parmagam text for a collection of modification. Okay, for a collection of modification is itself a modification. Okay, is itself a modification, namely a gross modification. Okay, so wherever we discuss, it is all gross modification which we can comprehend, because single moment modification with our limited knowledge we cannot comprehend. It is only known by the omniscient. So when we want to apply these viewpoints for us only, and our knowledge is limited, so we will consider the cluster of modification and not single modification. All that is the subject of the mode related viewpoint consists of such modifications. Keeping this in view, the canonical scriptures also present a classification of modification into the following 4 types. Okay, now this is very interesting. The 4 types of modification: beginningless and endless, Anadi, Anant. Okay, beginningless and endless modification, Anadi, Anant, Paryay. Then beginningless but ending. So beginningless is Anadi and ending is Sant. Okay. If it is endless, then at Anant. But if it is with ending, it is called Sant. So Anadi Sant modification. Okay. That is the second. The third one is like with a beginning but endless. So one who has got beginning is called Sadi. Okay. And endless is Anant. So Sadi Anant modification is the third one. And the last one is with a beginning and an end, Sadi Sant. Okay. So the momentary modification are called Sadi Sant because it has got a beginning and an end. This moment it originates, next moment it gets destroyed. So it has got a beginning and an end. Description of these 4 is as follows. See, first one, beginningless and endless. That which has existed from beginningless time and will continue endlessly is called an Anadi Anant modification. For example, the modes of matter such as Mount Sumeru, natural images of the Jina, Akrutim Jinbim. Okay, so there are many Akrutim temples. Akrutim means it has not been made by a person. It is there in existence since time immemorial. Nobody has made it. These are called Akrutim Jinbim. Okay. So, for example, the modes of matter such as Mount Sumeru, natural images of the Jin, Akrutim Jinbim, and temples of the Jina, Jin Chaityalay. Okay. These are the examples of Anadi Anant. Okay. No beginning, no end. The second category, beginningless but ending. Those that are beginningless but come to an end are called Anadi Sant modification. For example, worldly modes of the soul. Worldly modes of the soul. Okay. Worldly modes of the soul. So they have got a beginning, but those are beginningless because soul is wandering into transmigration since time immemorial. There is no beginning. So all worldly souls are beginningless, but they do come to an end. Because if they get liberated, they are not going to take any further birth. Okay. So there is an end. but it is existing since beginningless time. Now the third category, so there is a change in numbers. The third would be fourth, okay, and fourth would be third. So third one would be fourth. So first we will read the fourth. Sadi Anant. Those that are not beginningless, okay, that means it is with beginning. So that are called Sadi. But we will remain endlessly are called Sadi Anant. For example, the liberated mode of the soul, Siddh Bhagwan. So Siddh Bhagwan are not beginningless, okay? But once they become Siddh, then endlessly they remain Siddh, okay? So those that are not beginningless, that means that has got a beginning. So when you get liberated, that's a beginning. But now on, you will remain endlessly as Siddh Bhagwan, okay? So that was the third one. Now the fourth one, which is Sadi Sant, momentary, okay? Those that are neither beginningless nor endless are called Sadi Sant modification, okay? So Sadi means beginningless, Sant means endless. For example, the human mode of the soul, okay? So our human life, we have come here for a fixed tenure, okay? So it has got a beginning and it has got end, okay? So those that are neither beginningless nor endless, that means those which have a beginning and an end are called Sadi Sant. A momentary transformation also falls under this category because every moment new modification evolves and the older one gets destroyed. Okay, so this is called Sadi Sant. So four categories you have understood, I hope. It
Sir,
must,
once clarification, you
yeah,
asked me that the form correction in the numbers, no. Third should be fourth,
yes.
and the fourth
Explanation.
should be third.
Explanation, the
In the
sequence.
explanation, numbers should be changed.
Number
So,
only change.
that number 3 above and Sadi Anant. So, in that number, in the explanation, the fourth one become third, no? So, it should be
The
Sadi
explanation.
Shant.
Yes. Fourth one will become third, and third
Ah.
will become with fourth. Okay.
So, the explanation, those that are not beginningless, that
Ah,
is Sadi.
ah,
But will remain endlessly are called Sadi Anant. But it should be Sadi Shantan, we have to change it, no?
Sadi Sant. Third one will come in the fourth, and fourth one will come in the third explanation. Okay.
So that are called Sadi Shantan, we have to change in our explanation, modification also, no?
No. You don't have to change the words. You have to change the
Uh-huh.
numbers only. Numbers.
Numbers only, okay.
Four will become third, and third will become
So
fourth.
numbers in the chart, sir.
Not
No,
chart.
no,
Not chart.
in
This
the
page number
explanation.
22. Page number 22,
Huh.
description of these four is as follows. Okay. There, 1, 2 are okay. But 4 will come in the number 3, and 3 will come in the number 4. That much you have to change. Only numbers you have to change.
No, sir, in that third says, in the with a beginning but endless, Sadi Ananta. Okay, sir. Understood. I
Yes.
have
What?
written wrongly. Okay.
Yeah. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Jinali, you also got? Jinali?
Just number in the explanation, not in the chart.
Not in the chart, only the explanation. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you have changed the number, no? 3 to 4 and 4 to 3.
Yes, sir. I have changed.
Okay. Now, it must be kept in mind that the modification described here as beginningless and endless, etc., they too change at every moment, but they remain more or less the same. Okay. From that viewpoint, they are called one modification. The liberated modification, Siddh Bhagwan, even though it changes every moment, remains exactly the same for all eternity. In worldly modes, such as human mode, some minor variations may occur, but they largely remain the same. A similar understanding should be applied to the matter aggregate transformations like Mount Sumeru. Okay. In the same way, although all modes are indeed non-eternal, not impermanent, but non-eternal, yet those modes which remains for infinite time, such as beginningless, endless, and with beginning, endless modification, are also referred to as eternal. Here it is the duration or continuity that determines eternality and not the beginningless, endless. Okay? Not the beginninglessness, endlessness. In brief, the viewpoints that take in brief the viewpoint that in brief the viewpoint that takes the beginningless, endless, and with beginning endless modification as their subject matter are beginningless eternal mode related viewpoint and with beginning eternal mode related viewpoint, the first two. Okay. The remaining four viewpoints which takes as their subject the modes that are devoid of infinitude are called impermanent mode grasping. Impermanent means non-eternal. So first two are eternal, next four are non-eternal, which is also called impermanent. So you write it down non-eternal. We use standard words. So you write down non-eternal. Non-eternal mode grasping. Anitya Paryay Grahi viewpoints. These are divided into two types, pure and impure. The basis for determining purity and impurity is also of two kinds. In this way, this viewpoint becomes of four types. Okay. The general nature of a modification is origination, destruction. When the origination destruction form of modification is viewed independent of existence, satta nirpeksh, it is called pure, and that is the impermanent pure mode related viewpoint independent of existence. Okay, so impermanent you can write down non-eternal. All four are non-eternal, so this word will come everywhere, impermanent or non-eternal, but non-eternal is a standard word. Okay. Second one, when it is viewed as a dependent upon existence, it is called impure. So dependency, so impure. That is the impermanent, that is non-eternal, impure. Mode related viewpoint dependent on existence. Okay. In the same form, when the transform is viewed as independent of the influence of karma, it is called pure. That is pure mode related viewpoint independent of karmic afflictions. When seen as dependent on the influence of karma, it is called impure. Okay. So these are the distinctions. The above discussion can be clearly understood through the following chart. Okay. Now you can relate to the chart more precisely. Again, we are repeating once more. So first one, mode related viewpoint. There are 6 divisions. Okay. First, two broad divisions. Permanent mode grasping. Permanent would be eternal. And impermanent would be non-eternal. Okay, we are using standard words. So non-eternal mode grasping. Now, eternal mode grasping is again divided into two. Beginningless eternal mode and with beginning eternal mode. Okay. Anadi Nitya and Sadi Nitya with beginning. Beginning means the one who has got beginning is called Sadi. Without beginning, Anadi. One who has got end is called Sant. No end, Anant. Okay. So first two, we are now seeing the discussion. See below the discussion is also given. First
So
one.
the Siddh Bhagwan it is Anant, matlab it is like endless now that
Yes,
his
Anadi Anant.
Anadi Anant.
No,
Okay.
but see, Bhagwan has got a beginning, right? So
Huh.
it has got a beginning. That means it is Sadi and
Huh.
Anant.
And
Anant.
Anant.
No
Okay.
end.
No end. Huh.
Sid modification has got a beginning, but
Huh.
no end.
Okay.
Okay. So first one is beginningless eternal mode related viewpoint. This viewpoint grasps beginningless and eternal modification.
Sorry. Sir, can you just give one example of each? We'll just write the example so it's easy for
It's
us
written
to
over there.
understand.
For example, the moon, the sun, the mountains
Acha. Okay.
are eternal.
Mount Sumeru. Okay.
Okay. So
Huh.
it is beginningless. There is no beginning. Okay. And it is eternal. Okay. So beginningless, eternal, anadi nitya. Okay. This viewpoint grasps beginningless and eternal modification. For example, the moon, the sun, Mount Sumeru, etc. are eternal. Number 2, same, eternal mode grasping. Okay. With beginning eternal mode. With beginning eternal mode related viewpoint. This viewpoint grasps a modification which has a beginning due to the annihilation of karmas and is indestructible due to the absence of a cause of destruction. For example, the liberated modification is eternal. It has got a beginning but no end. Right? Now Siddh Bhagwan is okay. Number 2 example. Jinali.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now the third one. So third one will be the category of the second part. Non-eternal mode grasping. Non-eternal mode grasping. So it is divided into two, pure and impure. So first we are discussing the pure. So the name would be non-eternal, pure, mode related viewpoint independent of existence. Non-eternal word, you use it. Okay. It's not there, you put it. Non-eternal, pure mode related viewpoint independent of existence. Why it is pure? Because it is independent of existence. The viewpoint considers existence. The viewpoint considers independence of existence. Okay. Not permanence. You cut down permanence. This viewpoint considers independence of existence. Auxiliary would be secondary and grasps origination and destructions. Okay. Secondary means gone. Okay. And the one which we are focusing is the origination and destruction. Okay. So this viewpoint considers independence of existence secondary and grasps origination and destruction which is primary. Okay. For example, modifications are perishable at every moment. Okay. So this is the third one. Now fourth one. Non-eternal, impure, mode related viewpoint dependent of existence. The earlier one was independent of existence. Now it is dependent of existence. The viewpoint grasps origination and destruction together with permanence at one time. For example, at one moment, a modification is triple natured with origination, destruction, and permanence. So origination and destruction happens in the modification and the substance remains permanence. And all this put together is an entity of a substance. Okay. So every substance has these three parts: origination, destruction, and permanence. Now the fifth point. Non-eternal, pure mode related viewpoint independent of karmic affliction, and the next would be dependent of karmic affliction. So first we see the independent of karmic affliction. This viewpoint grasps a modification independent of karmic affliction. For example, the modification of worldly beings is pure, like that of the liberated. Okay. So this viewpoint grabs a modification independent of karmic afflictions. Karmic afflictions are there, but it ignores the karmic afflictions and focuses on the modification which is independent of karmic afflictions. Okay, just like that of a liberated soul. Now, sixth one and the last one. Non-eternal, impure, mode-related viewpoint dependent of karmic affliction. This viewpoint grabs a modification dependent relative. It is written here relative, but you write dependent. We are using standard words. So everywhere sapeksh would be dependent. Okay. This viewpoint grabs a modification dependent to karmic afflictions. This viewpoint describes the impermanent, that is non-eternal. You can write it down, non-eternal. And impure modifications of worldly beings in the four realms. Realms means state of existence. For example, worldly beings undergo birth and death. Okay. So in this way, there are 6 broad divisions of the mode-related viewpoint. First 2 are eternal, next 4 are non-eternal. First 2 are not having any purity, impurity as distinction, and the next 4 do have purity and impurity as distinction. So the first 2 are beginningless eternal mode with beginning eternal mode. And the next 4, the first 2 are pure, okay, pure impermanent mode grasping, that is existence independent, impermanent, pure mode related viewpoint. Okay. And the 5th one is the karmic affliction independent. Similarly, the impure has again 2 divisions. One is existence dependent, impermanent, and another one is karmic afflictions dependent, impermanent. Okay. So in this way, 6 modifications, all their definitions are given, and that is the end of this chapter. What I would give you as homework, we have one homework assignment called Viva. Okay. So I will ask 3 questions from this particular Agam Ke Nai book. Okay. Viewpoints in canonical scriptures. I will ask you 3 questions. Okay. So you prepare the chapters, and I'm giving you 15 days time for these preparations. Okay. And next week, we will be starting Samaisar summary. Okay. I'll be sharing the PDF in a day or two. You can take a printout and be ready. And Gandhar Mulyankan I will give you from Samaisar. Okay. Summary. So that will be our paper 2. One part is Agam Ke Nai, other part is Samaisar summary. Okay. So Samaisar summary we are going to start next week. It's a very interesting scripture, and we will be understanding the whole of Samaisar in a summarized form. Okay. So that will give us an insight what is the text matter of Samaisar. Okay. Everywhere the pure soul is highlighted in Samaisar, everywhere. Okay. And that what brings the happiness. So very important subject, and we are going to read Samaisar in detail in the next 3 sems. Okay. So 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. All the 4 sems have Samaisar as one subject every sem. Okay. So we would be studying Samaisar in very deep. So here you will have got a chance to see the summary. Okay. And I'll be sharing the textbook by tomorrow. PDF, you can take a printout, and we'll be starting that next week. So you prepare for this Gandhar, not Gandhar Mulyankan. Gandhar Mulyankan would be from Samaisar summary. But Viva, 3 questions I will ask from Agam Ke Nai. Okay. So start
These
your
10 questions are from anywhere from the book.
Sir, I need to leave. I'll connect. I will see the video later.
Okay, okay, no problem.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
It is almost end. We are also closing now.
Okay.
So Sashikala ji, this Agam Ke Nai, if you catch up on recording, and
Yes.
be asking 3 questions from here. Like what is Dravya number 1, what is Dravya number 2, what is Dravya number 3, then what are the divisions and subdivisions of substance related viewpoint, modification related viewpoint, all this. Okay. So you read the chapter again and again. I will ask questions from this.
Okay.
Simple questions it would be, but at least if you have read it, you will be able to answer. And you can, it will be an open book exam. So you can also see and answer also. But at least
No,
you
we'll
have to
try to
study.
understand.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. निज
You tell the
निधि निज में बताई, यह अनंत उपकार है उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है. 9 times नमोकार मंत्र. कुलोद्वात संगमयी जिनवाणी माता